Knowing yourself runs deeper than just knowing your parents and where they come from. Knowing yourself involves more than just having an understanding of your likes and dislikes and why you think the way that you do. Knowing yourself, really knowing yourself, involves having a true understanding of where you come from. Now, I know several of you are probably looking at me saying, what is he talking about? I know where I come from. I'm from Savannah or Pittsburgh. But that's not what I mean. What I mean is who you come from. About 5 years ago, I became very interested with researching my family's history. I had always been a history buff, and one of my most beloved treasures is my family. So I figured, hey, why not merge the two? So I started my journey, and I tell you, I was excited. I just knew I was going to find everything I needed, like when we first came to America and even where we came from. To be honest, I was secretly hoping to discover that somehow we were related to Oprah and didn't even know it. So I decided to start with my great-grandmother, Alice. My great-grandfather didn't pass away until after I was born, so I had seen a few pictures of him and even heard several stories. But Alice had always been a mystery to me. Born in rural South Carolina near Walterboro, Alice, in 1918, she decided that she wanted more. So she came to Savannah between 1932 and 1935 to work for a prominent white attorney here in Savannah, doing such household things as cleaning and looking after the family's small children, although just a child herself. She later married Eddie, had 6 children, and became employed by Georgia Infirmary, the country's first documented hospital for blacks. Actually, she started there as a maid. And with tenacity, and after attending a Negro training school for nurses, became, as I'm told, one of the finest nurses the hospital had ever seen. So fine and hardworking that she worked herself to death after having a stroke in 1967. She was only 48 years old. That's about where Alice's legacy ends, at least as it relates to oral history. Besides some minute details I was able to uncover after speaking to a few people, that's all we know. In fact, with the exception of a ghost-like photograph that we recently inherited that barely captures a crooked smile, she doesn't exist. I haven't been able to find anything else. Imagine that. There are pictures of Benjamin Franklin, who lived in the 18th century, and even Harriet Tubman, who lived in the 19th century, but none of this wonderful woman who lived almost into the disco era. Why don't we know more about her? Why does her story end after an untimely stroke? I knew I had to do something. So I started documenting what little history we do have. I pieced it together in nice little booklets, got it all bound together, and I passed it out to family members. My hope was that everyone would read, see how much information was still missing, and join my quest. That didn't happen. Instead, I would see those same booklets used as coasters or hanging on magazine racks collecting dust when I would visit the homes of my family members. I even created little trivia games for us to play at family gatherings. But with the little information that we have, I could barely create enough questions to keep even myself intrigued. Then it hit me. I was spending so much time trying to relate to the younger generation, but I was neglecting to do so in a way that would be relevant to them. In the booming world of technology and social media, we all know that everything today is guided by how many likes and shares one can earn. Sharing memes and GIFs have become very popular, but what's not as popular is old-fashioned storytelling. Even if it's about the very people who made our existence possible. Those people who paved the way before us. those people whose shoulders we stand on even today without even knowing. So I did it. I created an Instagram page for Alice. No, I didn't have a picture to post every day or even every week for that matter. I wasn't able to post the half-eaten sandwich she had for dinner or that infamous bathroom selfie that we all know about. But what I was able to do was bring to light my journey and do so in a way that was interesting to more younger members of my family. A few weeks after having the page, an Instagram follower, direct messaged me. She, too, had family from Hendersonville, South Carolina, and she was interested in talking to me and finding out some more information. After many back and forth messages, we finally decided to set up a phone meeting. And it was at that time that we discovered that we were actually family. Alice's grandmother, Sarah Robinson, had a twin sister. Well, she left Hendersonville, South Carolina, pretty early to start a family with her white lover, and she became estranged. Now here I was, all these years later, speaking to my cousin, Sarah's twins' great-great-great-granddaughter. It was terrific. Can y'all imagine how excited I was to have made such a connection? I remember running back to my grandmother saying, "Listen, I found her. And they're all looking at me like, "Found who?" It was amazing. Just like that, a simple idea had become a dream come true. Simply taking Alice's story and not trying to tell it in a traditional way, but placing her in the world of social media completely changed the momentum of my journey. And it helped me to get some members, younger members of my family, not only interested in this journey, but in Alice's story. When people talk about preservation, what they're talking about are artifacts, artwork, architecture. And what they mean, or what they're referencing, is finding a way, using modern know-how and technology, to save those valuables from our past for future generations. To me, this is no different. A modern platform is providing me with a way to carry my family stories from the past into the future. So what about you? Are there any ancestral stories that you want to pass down? What techniques will you use to preserve your family's history? Thank you.